Hi. Okay, wow, cool. Hey, Jess. Okay, can everyone hear me? I think so. Okay, cool. Hi, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and get started a little bit. We have kind of a lot to go through, and I want to make sure that I tend to ramble, so we only have 30 minutes, I think. So feel free to ask questions and stuff, and I'll answer those towards the end. But we are in the Raaka factory right now. So I would go outside, but it's really rainy. This is kind of like the wide view. There's more on the other side. We're based in Red Hook, Brooklyn, and we make small batch chocolate with unroasted cacao beans. So we source single origin beans from the Dominican Republic. We work with Zorzal from Uganda, where we work with Simuliki Forest, Coco Chameleon, Tanzania, and CAC Pangoa in Peru. So we make everything right here at our space in Brooklyn, from bean to bar. And we've been in this space for 6 years, although Raaka started in 2010, so we're actually 10 years old officially this year. So yeah, the factory's changed a lot since I've been here. I'm William, I'm the brand manager. I've been here for 6 years. And this space used to be like pretty empty, and now it's like bursting at the seams. I'm going to give you a tour, so follow along with me. If you can't hear, I guess just say, oh, I see a question. Bear with me. So are you guys still shipping? I'll answer that right away. We are still shipping. We're still making chocolate and we're still shipping. We're considered an essential business under New York guidelines for now. And so far, everyone at Raaka is healthy. So fingers crossed. I hope everyone at home is healthy and safe as well. Okay, so I'm going to walk by some areas that are mostly fulfillment that we'll get to towards the end. I'm going to bring you into our newest area. So actually, when I first started at Raaka, this used to be an office. Now, here, let me flip it so you can see. Oh wait, no, other way. Okay, cool. So this used to be an office, but now it's actually another production room. We have 2 new rapid refiners from Diamond. So there you go inside there. Yeah. These are actually both making a 71% single origin chocolate that we make for Van Leeuwen ice cream. So that's in their cookie dough flavor. So definitely, if you like Van Leeuwen and you like that cookie dough, that's our chocolate in those cookies. This is Zorzal cacao, if you guys know the folks at Zorzal. And then over here, right here, we have a dehydrator. So we don't roast, but we do a lot of steaming. So like if you've had our roast cardamom bar, we steam beans over rose petals and cardamom to make that. And after we steam the nibs, we dehydrate them in proofers. So I'm going to take you along into our bean room now. So this is our bean room. I'm going to flip this again. So this room has changed a lot recently. That's Mario in the corner, one of our chocolate makers. This is a pack-in-it winnower. I think it's very cute, so I'm going to do a little zoom on that. The pack-in-it winnower is relatively new. We used to have a winnower similar to the John Nancy model for several years, and this year we got this. The way it works is, here's a bag of beans. These are from Oko Caribe. So we pour the beans in here, and then it goes up top, and basically this machine separates by weight basically anything that's not a bean. So things like piece of the burlap or shell or rocks, any stuff that gets in the bags that aren't beans, this machine will separate. And then this part is the winnower. And basically it's a series of rollers that crush the nibs, and they basically spit it out into here, and we'll have nibs separated from shell. And then over here we have our optical sorter, kind of like HAL from 2001 Space Odyssey. It is basically artificially intelligent. It has photographic memory, and it memorizes the nibs and the shell and knows to separate them based on the way that they look. So they come up through this feeder tube, the nibs and the shell, and then there is an air compression right here that shoots the shell away from the nib down into separate piles. So you can see here. Hopefully it's not so dark that you can't see. Actually, over here, this is Mario. He's, hey Mario, you can wave. This is our bourbon cascade bar. Sorry, this is a little dark, but basically for our bourbon cascade bar, we age cocoa camellia beans in these bourbon casks for 6 weeks. And after that 6 weeks is up, we separate them to make the chocolate. So this is actually where that bar happens. There's all the barrels. Okay, now, so this is kind of another big look at the bean room. Up there is an office. It's kind of boring, so we're not actually going to go in there. Okay, so I'm going to take you into our grinding room now, where it's going to be a little loud, so I'm going to shout. But we have another one of the new rapid refiners. This one's a little further along than what we saw in the other room. Hey Dick Taylor, what up? And Coco Camille. These basically amount-wise, so these Cocoa Towns, which we've had for years, at least as long as since I've been here, these make about 400 bars of chocolate, where this one makes about 700 bars of chocolate, so for a little comparison. And right now each one is doing a different bar, so this one is doing 71% for Van Leeuwen, this one is doing salt, and these down here will be doing oat milk. Pretty cool. Mario is going to be milling for us, so we've timed it specifically. This is our 3-row mill. This machine is almost as old as the building. It was built in the 30s, and so was the building. And so the way this works is we have 3 rollers here. As you can see, Mario's pouring it between the 2 feeder rollers. And the 2 feeder rollers are basically spinning towards each other, pulling the chocolate all the way under. And then the apron roller, which is this 3rd roller here, is spinning towards us. And there's basically a blade that is catching the chocolate off the apron roller and getting it to come down this apron pan here. So, yeah, alright. Lovely. The roll mill is probably my most favorite process in the entire factory. Basically what we're trying to do is refine the particle size of the chocolate down to below 20 microns so that it has a nice, smooth, even melt. We mill every day. This looks like, is this oat milk, Mario? Well, is this oat milk?
This is Tanzania.
Is this Tanzania?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What bar? Is this pure Tanzania?
We just do some.
Oh, so this is 71% with Tanzania. So Coco Camille, if you're still watching, that is your stuff right there. I really like this part. It's very wiggly and jiggly, and it reminds me, I like Missy Elliott a lot. It just makes me want to dance. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, it's really funky and groovy. And yeah, very soothing. I feel like it's like ASMR. In fact, I could probably just film this for the entire tour, but that wouldn't be that informative, so I won't. But we'll just get a little bit, a little bit closer in there to soothe everyone. Yeah, lovely. And we'll get a little further along. So actually some interesting things about the roll mill is the first pass is a little bit more fatty, and so you can see how it's really shiny, and that's because we're getting a lot more of the cocoa butter and the fat from the bean. where as it progresses, it's going to get a lot flakier, and that'll be more of the solids and the sugar particles coming out. So we probably won't be standing here watching the mill for that portion, but it's just something to note. If you've seen our photos on Instagram, maybe you've seen a flakier, thicker chocolate coming off this mill. That's more of the solids and the sugars, where this is more of that cocoa butter. Yeah, so it's very pretty. It's like lava. And we'll go check on our wiggly jiggly thing over here. So yeah, it gets like more jiggly as time progresses. So you get, yeah, I got that wiggle right there. Yeah, love it. I'm just like all about it. Love it. Raaka dance party. Yeah. Okay. We can come back to this and maybe there'll be more flaking going on. I will show you guys some more parts of the factory. Sorry to turn you away. So this is where we do our tempering. We have Selmy temperers. We have a few right now. And then we have this big holding tank right here. We have a conch that's currently not in use, so we're not going to go up to that. But yeah, so this is where the tempering happens. We store all our chocolate in these food-safe bins before it's ready to be wrapped. So you can see we've got a lot of fresh bourbon coming out that was made today, or poured today, as you can see, 328. Down here's my second favorite part of the factory, which is the broken bars. I like to snack on these a lot, to my detriment. But you know, it's good to reuse and recycle. And currently I am the recycling bin. Tell them to fix that thing already. I definitely will. This is another fun part. So I can run this machine for you, although I can't officially wrap a bar. This is our wrapping machine. This is another machine that we post a lot of videos on at the factory. There's even some great moments of bars breaking, because as awesome as this machine is, it does break bars. But the way this works, this is a Swiss wrapping machine. It was built in the 1970s. One of our former production employees, Will Widmeyer, named it Matilda. So we still call it that. So this conveyor belt here is where we place the bars. Sorry for my bad nail job. And the bars travel along this conveyor belt until they reach this portion. And then that arm grabs one bar. Meanwhile, this piece of scissors here cuts a roll of foil. And then this arm grabs paper that's usually sitting in this bin, puts it on top of the foil. And then there's this little clamp in here. You see that little alligator? Oh wow, we can really get in here. So that alligator clamp grabs the foil and the paper and puts it on top of the bar that was slid by that arm. And then there's a platform that pushes the bar, foil, and paper up. That's also glued. So I forgot about this very vital piece, which is a self-inking glue stamp right there. Just stamping away. Wow, my torch used to be way better, guys. I'm sorry, I'm a little rusty. So, and then this piece folds the paper together finally. So the bar is sealed, and then these hooks grab the bars one by one and pull them all the way down to that hand right there that grabs the bars again and puts it down onto this conveyor belt, and they all end up on this table here. So now we can actually talk about our packaging, which is something I'm a little bit more qualified to discuss. Okay, so some of you guys probably remember back in the day when we had very different packaging. We rebranded in 2018. The reason we rebranded is we really had grown a lot as a company, and we wanted to... these bars obviously are not going anywhere, by the way, because you can see that. So we do have to rewrap those. Trial and error. So basically we wanted to rebrand and kind of develop a design that really spoke to who we were as a company, making bars from single origin beans without roasting, with interesting flavors, and making bars from scratch based on specific flavor profiles that we were working with. So we had two designers, Andrea Trabuco Campos and Simon Blockley, who developed this design for us. Here's actually a cooler look. So you can see actually that the icon here on the back of every Raaka bar, when you zoom out, is actually this whole thing, and the colors correspond with the flavor profiles that you'll taste. So we have a pink sea salt here, and actually I can grab, this is our little paper vault. Let's grab our maple to compare. It's our maple nib. So to compare like the flavor profiles here, maple is like warmer and toastier flavors with like some red fruit. So you can see like those colors. Yeah, and then again, origin. So this is actually Semiliki Forest. And then, so the other thing that we developed at the same time as this new branding is transparent trade. So basically we wanted a system to inform our customers about how we buy cacao and how our supply chain works. And we really didn't feel like the fair trade or direct trade terms were really applicable to us. And we also didn't feel like customers were really understanding what those were about. Like for some folks, direct trade is literally buying it directly from a farmer, which some chocolate makers do. But some of us buy beans through cooperatives or other grower-centered organizations like Coco Camilli that support smallholder farmers and add value by connecting them to small batch chocolate makers like us. So we developed transparent trade to just be transparent, to talk about what we pay, and how that compares to the commodity price, and explain what the commodity price is and how that works. We hope you guys find this informative. We really are trying to avoid terms like ethical and things like that because they're really subjective when we're talking about commodity markets and capitalism and all these really heavy subjects. But we wanted to just lay it all plain out there for people to be able to read and digest and make up their minds, and just spread education. So we're really inspired by all of our peers in craft chocolate making, and then people who are doing great work at Origin, like Uncommon Cacao and Meridian and other folks as well. Okay, so I'm going to bring you to our fulfillment area because fulfillment is a very important part of chocolate that maybe is not discussed a lot but should be. So our fulfillment team is head by Brian Kerwin, who's not here, but this is his space. Keeps on. This is so embarrassing, I'm like a parent. So we've got a lot of bars here. Actually, most of these are already claimed by distributors, but someone asked earlier, so I will repeat that we are still shipping. We are still shipping out bars from this month's first nibs, which I'm going to talk about. So this was March's batch. We focused on teas, Shisandra Rooibos, which I think sounds like some kind of celebrity, and Citrus Earl Grey, and this also came with our Green Tea Crunch. A little note about this is these were designed to be kind of like a progression. So the little dotted sections of the origin are kind of like, since first nibs is where we do a lot of our experimentation and really play with different ideas and flavors and often new beans, we wanted to represent that quality in a design. And so Andre and Simon developed this kind of like dotted hatched pattern, I believe it's called. And then we also developed these shipper boxes. So First Nibs ships directly in one of these boxes now, which is great because it's minimizing packaging, which we're constantly trying to do. Very hard with chocolate since you do have to take melt in consideration. So that's this month's bars. They're honestly really, really good. Both of them, the Citrus Earl Grey and the Shisandra Rooibos, I think taste like honey. And then Green Tea Crunch if you haven't tried it yet. So you can still get those bars before the end of the month. And I will tell you that this month's bars, we are going to be announcing them on April 1st, on the 1st of the month. And I can give you a little clue that this specific this genre of ingredient is one of the bars, not this specific ingredient, but this is a French apple. So though there's 2 clues in there about what this month's first nibs are going to be. And if you sign up for our email newsletter, you'll be the first to know, and then we'll announce on Instagram and stuff like that. So those will be, we're currently making those. Actually, I can bring you back into our other room and show you that we still make a lot of things in really, really tiny batches. I'm gonna flip this again. So yeah, we still use these to do a lot of experiments. A lot of first nibs begin here. A lot of our bars that we want to release to wholesale begin here. So this is actually where we also started as a company, and I know a lot of our peers started here as well. So yeah, we're still doing them. And then we also use them for our tours and classes, which are currently on hold due to the COVID situation. We do hope to start those up again as soon as everything is safe. And yeah, so we still remain true to our roots with the Premier grinders. Does anyone have any questions? Let me see if people. So someone asked, we're still shipping. Yes, we are. Let me try and would you say the roll mill is why your chocolate has a not aggressive raw taste? That is a good question. I actually don't know why our chocolate feels a little bit smoother than a lot of other unroasted chocolates. I think a lot of it has to do with the beans that we choose. We work with really great beans. We're really lucky to work with fantastic growers like Coco Camilli's, Rosal, Similiki Forest, Oko. And I think we just pay a lot of attention at every step of the way, whether it's in the grinding or the roll refining. We're really constantly paying attention to make sure that, it's not so aggressively acidic, because we will always have a little bit more acidity than our peers who roast. And I do think that having the roll refiner does help make it a little smoother or a lot smoother on the palate when it's melting. So hopefully that answers the question. Great. Oh, thank you for the compliments on my nails, Valerie. This is a month-old nail job. Okay, we're going to go back into the roll mill room so you can see a little bit more of that action. Oh, wow, we're back to me. So, yeah, pouring chocolate out, looking good. Yeah, very yummy. So here's some more roll milling action. We'll focus on this while we answer questions, which I think is a lot more pleasant sight than my face. So love your chocolate. Everyone is so sweet. We love you all. We need good cherry news. No way, odd apples plus Raaka. Not quite odd apples, but close. There will be an apple bar. Spoiler alert, one of the bars will be in apples. How do you do the cacao butter steam infusion? Okay, so Cacao Crazy asked how we do cacao butter infusions. A couple different ways. One of the things we really like to do is steep things into cacao butter. Actually, that is what's happening right there. That is cacao butter that has been melted with some kind of... With what? In the proofer. Okay. So yeah, that's been in the proofer. What's in it? Is there like an herb in it? Is there like an herb or anything in it? No. Okay, well that's just melted cocoa butter. But when we flavor like green tea crunch, for example, we steep the tea in the cocoa butter. And so a fun fact about, we're going to go to this again because everyone loves it. So ice cream and chocolate are very similar in that like a lot of the flavor is aromatic. So you're kind of perfuming the fat. So like when we make the rose cardamom bar, for example, we steam the beans, but we also steep rose and cardamom into cocoa butter, and we're getting all those aromatic flavors into the fat. and so as the fat melts on your palate, your like those aromatic compounds are being released, so you're able to like taste more. And so it's better than just like straight up mixing the ingredient into the bar. By steeping it into the fat, we're allowing it to have much more of a complex flavor, and so that's true of a lot of our tea bars, and any bar that uses kind of like an herb or really any ingredient that has a really strong aromatic compound. And ice cream is very similar. You'll steep things into butterfat, and actually candle making works a lot like this too, because essentially we're talking about scent. So a lot of what we smell is what we taste, which is why when we taste chocolate, we want to smell the chocolate, especially after we break a piece off of the bar, because we release more aromatics. Do you deliver to Ireland? I think we will ship to Ireland. I know it is more expensive. Why is your chocolate so damn delicious? Because of the beans and the hard work. How do you choose which bars? Choose coconut sugar. Very flavor based. So coconut sugar is really, really strong. So we only use it sometimes. You know, if coconut sugar overpowers the bar, then we'll go with a different sweetener. But sometimes it's just right. Like we made our triple coconut a few years, 2 years or last year, and that was a coconut milk bar that used coconut sugar, and it had more of like a cookie-likeness to it from that coconut sugar. Do you ship overseas? We can ship overseas. Favorite child question? Me personally, oat milk. I will not speak for others. Oh, yes, need a lifetime supply of from vanilla violet. Yes, vanilla violet is a fave. Make roast cardamom permanent. It's definitely coming back every season. Let's see, what other questions? Fat, yes, totally agree. Totally agree. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. All-time fave, actually, like, of all time, like, best bar we ever... I really liked our tahini swirl, which might be coming back. That was a really tough bar to make. Or the black and white cookie. So our vegan white chocolate we really love, but it is really, really hard to make because of the melting point of coconut. And that caused a lot of problems, but we know that people love them and we love them, so we do try and do a swirl and a white chocolate every now and then. We try and schedule them around cooler months because it's better for shipping and storage. And yeah, we want to keep making them for people because you guys like them, but they are very, very challenging, and we want to be nice to ourselves as well. Oh yeah, okay, cool. So we're really getting groovy with the mill, as you can see. Yeah, really great. Oh, it is? Okay. I've just been informed that the winnowing machine is running, so we're going to go take a look at that, just so you guys can see it. Thank you all for sticking along. I guess this means I'm not boring, which is great. So the reason that Nate can't do this right now is because he's actually literally picking up cocoa beans. So that's a fun fact, is that I'm sure as any chocolate maker will tell you, when you start a small batch chocolate company, be prepared to pretty much be working a lot and maybe almost never not working. So only do it if you like it. So here's the Pack-In-It winnower. So this is kind of cool. I wish I could figure out how to get my phone brighter, but you guys can kind of see what's going on here is there are a lot of nibs coming out, and there's also a lot of shell. So this is why that we use Optical Sorter, because we don't roast as well. We get a lot more shell because there's still some of that remaining moisture in the bean that's causing the shell to stick more. So when you roast, you dehydrate that a lot, and it makes it easier to winnow. So actually, I'm gonna do a little thing right here. Obviously, we're not gonna use these, but you can kind of see that, yeah, we get a lot of shell. So I'll probably do something fun with these, like put them on yogurt. But yeah, so it's cool. The thing about the Pack-In-It is it's actually really quiet compared to our other winnowers. But it does take up the whole room. Okay, let's see. What winnow What did you winnow before this machine? So this machine we've always used for nibs, but before we had the pack-and-knit winnower, we used a winnower that was very similar to the John Nancy model. These beans are Oko Caribe, to answer your question, Simran. And yes, we are still running 7 days a week, pretty much all the time. We have a day shift and a night shift now, and actually especially due to the current COVID situation, we are doing our best to keep employees working separately to minimize any contact. So we're rotating shifts a lot. Oh, you're welcome. We love getting our chocolate kosher certified. Very important to serve our kosher customers. We do not have CBD chocolate. We have thought about it, but we will let others do that for now. Maybe someday. Do you run it back to remove more shell? So we actually have the optical sorter to make sure to click share at the end. I do need to make sure to say this. What removes the potential biohazard since you don't roast? Good, very good question. So we do have a kill step. Our grinders do get hot enough, and we also test our chocolate for pathogens and allergens. So we have a person who's like the dedicated quality and safety manager of our team, Esteban. He's also a really incredible chocolatier. And he tests our chocolate for pathogens. Let's see. Have you guys tried steeping hops? We actually have. We did a hops bar in, I want to say like 2015, and I actually really liked it because I love hops, and I just got the Lagunitas hop water, which this is a recommendation for the Lagunitas hop water. If you have not had, you should get it. It's very good. It's a sparkling water that has hops in it. So we did do a hops bar, and a lot of people really didn't like it. It was a First Nibs bar, and it was probably one of our lowest rated bars. So we collect feedback at the end of every month just to see how people feel about the subscription, and then also, to get feedback directly on those bars, because when they're favorited, we try and integrate them into our lineup, and when people don't like them, we really want to know. So hops is one of the least popular bars that we did, even though I did really like it. What is the concept phase like for new flavors? So we've gotten a lot better about this. We plan them really far in advance. Arissa Agnihotri is our subscription manager. She also manages our Whole Food sales, and has also been our operations director before. So she manages the subscription, and her and Nate meet, and sometimes I'm also present as well, and plan out flavors way far in advance. If we know we have partnerships coming up, we try and align those. But generally we look at least 6 months ahead, and we leave it a little bit open for, like, if someone says, hey, I want to collaborate, are you guys available this month? We'll move things around. And we try and do it seasonally, so based on ingredients, maybe based on new beans that we're going to get, or like I was saying with the white chocolate and the swirls earlier, we try and time those around cooler months to avoid problems with melting. What's the biggest seller? I actually think it's sea salt now, but bourbon's still up there. Will you be adding more variety to Whole Foods? So we are trying. Oat milk just got accepted in quite a few regions, and so did the 100%. Whole Foods is tough. Some regions carry a lot of bars, and some regions carry like only 4 of them. We're constantly we're constantly submitting new bars to the 11 regions. It's hard. It's tough. It's a competitive shelf. The sea salt is just perfection. I agree. I love it. It's not my favorite, but I eat the most of it, if that makes sense. You can pretty much eat it any time of day. I do eat it for breakfast. I love that there's so many dope chocolate makers in here. Hey, Emily. Okay, I'm not sure if I went for 30 minutes, and there's still a lot of people here. So let's see if anyone has any questions. We can go back to the row mill as well. How often do you release new theme bars? Pretty much every month since we do our first nib. So this is a custom wall structure we did. I really don't know the background behind it, other than people came here and put it up and there was a pizza party. Very fun. So this was actually, I was telling you about how over time the mill will get thicker and less shiny because there's less fat. So this is more of the solid. So you're seeing a lot of the sugar particles. Actually, if we zoom in here, you can see sugar particles. Yeah, really cool. So it starts to look like braids at this point, and it's less shiny. You can see it, more sugar particles coming up here. So after this, we mix the chocolate together again, or mix it all, back in a grinder and then a holding tank. So the solids and the fats can remix together, since you can see that they're kind of separating now in the mill. Kind of zoom out, but you can see the flaking. Very cool. And then you can see over here, so this is like the end. So you can see there's just a little snake situation going on there. And it kind of looks like Play-Doh at this point. Why is there sugar in this? So we run everything through the mill, every flavor. So, some of the flavors have sugar and some of them don't. So for the scraping part, so here we go. So we pass everything through the roll mill a couple of times. So here we are scraping. Very cool. I'm so happy that this timing worked out, because this is the content that you all came here for. Yeah, row mill. I think we should start a row mill account where all the chocolate makers just submit all their row mill videos and post them. So anyone that wants to do that, hit me up in the DMs, and we'll get an account going. We can just put fun music to row milling videos, which is honestly one of my favorite things to do. Okay, how do you find working with oat powder? Good question. So actually we use oat flour. We get our oat flour from a certified gluten-free oat farm. Let me see if I can find the bag. We do like it. I will say that oat milk bar has a cookie-like texture. So it's not quite as creamy as our coconut milk bar, because you are getting a little bit of grittiness. But for that bar, we actually like it because it does kind of lend the bar kind of this oatmeal cookie-like feel. Yeah, for that bar it works, but it wouldn't work for every bar. Yes, row mill count. Yeah, we got to do it. I mean, this is really, really dope right here. I've actually never really taken a lot of time to meditate on this part of the process, but it's actually cool. We got like a little snake dude going on in there. See ya! Coming out the other end. Okay. Here we are. It's like very amazing. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Here's another grinder. I really actually love the way the chocolate looks like in these new refiners. And they're very clean and shiny, which is cool. I miss you too, Dick Taylor team. Put Nate in your luggage and come out. Gotta talk about it. Fun fact, I was gonna go to that, but I had done so much traveling that I didn't. But I do want to come visit. I actually might be going to California if everything all goes okay in the fall for apple season, and one of my plans is to hit up Humboldt County to go to Albert Edder's orchard, where a lot of my favorite apples are produced, but also come visit you guys, which I've been wanting to do for years. People are like, wow, Bill, enough of... Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna get a little more there. Mario's very patient with me. Sometimes I make brownies and cookies for people, so that's what I do as an apology. But this is very satisfying too. Very satisfying. Lovely. Okay. Thanks, Mario. Okay. So I think that is pretty much it. I can show you guys our mini machine, which I haven't done. I kind of avoided that part of the factory, but it's not on, and we're packing a lot of first nibs. So maybe other chocolate makers can relate to this, but you gotta use all your available space, which sometimes can be a bit crazy. But I'll show you guys our mini machine. You can see how it works here. So here's actually the mini paper. That's our 100%. And this is kind of a cool look inside. So the minis come down this conveyor belt. So we actually demold them straight on here. And they're pushed through here. And then let's go over here. But there's basically, this is a wheel and there's an arm that grabs one mini. The paper is pulled. You can see there's foil and mini paper at the same time. And then they're cut. You can see there's an eye mark there. And so basically the machine looks for that eye mark and it knows to cut it right there. And it gets wrapped and brought all the way over here. And then we shoot them down into a bucket. So actually we'll walk over there and we'll find that that bucket is probably full of minis. Let's see. It's not full of minis. Wow, spoiler alert. Sorry guys, that was so anticlimactic. All the minis have been packed. Thank you for joining us, or me. Well, no, Mario also as well. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to ask on the post where we announce this with the row mill, or ask us in a DM. You can also reach out to me at william@raakachocolate.com. And this, I believe, is going to live forever, which is maybe bad for me, on YouTube. Thank you to FCCI and Uncommon Cacao and Craft Chocolate Experience for putting this together. This has been really cool, keeping up with everyone's videos. And we were stoked to be a part of it, and I hope everyone is staying at home, staying sane at home, staying healthy at home, reaching out to loved ones, and enjoying chocolate. A lot of us are still shipping, so you can get your chocolate directly from craft chocolate makers, including us at Raaka, and you can send your friends and loved ones chocolate as well, which is always a really nice thing to do, and they really appreciate it. Thanks for coming along, and I hope everyone has a really good evening. Okay, and April 1st, new first nibs, it's coming. Thanks for coming, guys. See ya. Okay, now I do end. Oh, am I live?